Es geht tatsächlich los.
Okay, we can finally start.
Danke für den Applaus. Ich habe gar
Thank you
nichts
for the
geleistet.
applause.
Vielen Dank an die
I didn't do
Technik.
anything.
Das
Thank
hat
you.
sehr schön
Thanks to
geklappt.
the technical people.
Temporäre Regelung, wenn hier in den ersten zwei Reihen
In the first row, 2 rows, we still have a few empty seats, and you may use them. Thank you for your understanding. Unfortunately, we don't have any music, and we will now get started with Ron and Frank. Have fun.
Yeah, thank you very much. And from us also for this year, a warm welcome for this year too. The intro music reminds me of some place I was with Andy when we still used to be press speakers for the CCC, and we just were like at sorry, I got out. I love multimedia.
Well, we are back here. It's been 1 year since the last time, so this time is progressing really fast, and we are back here. And I think we'll start with the more serious parts of the last 4 years and carry on to the funnier parts now. We'd like to talk about all the little things we'll be laughing about next year. And first we'll do a short little review of all the things we laughed about or didn't laugh.
As usually, we don't think we've got everything, but of course we will allow questions to include more things we laughed about and will laugh about.
Right, during preparation I thought that, we already did 5 years, so we should probably do some special session, but then we found, oh well, it's already been 9 years, so we'll do a special session next year then. Why we are doing this? We're talking about the idea what kind of security nightmares we want like to see next year, and we found out that we actually do need these kind of nightmares for change to happen. This is why we are constantly requesting from people to know that just because we already told you about it, it doesn't just mean we're finished with it, but you still have to do your part.
So one of these nice examples for predictions we've been done all the years, Ron brings every year to the Congress something, I didn't get that.
Everything we could have had in the last 5 years if I actually sent it by mail. Damn.
Let's look back at what happened this year.
Much.
Ron had to take a smaller font for the presentation, unfortunately.
Well, we had 2002, 2003, 4, 5, 6. We just don't know anymore. We already lost all the slides. We predicted that it's time that one of the big, huge databases gets
Well, this year, somehow, it was over-delivered.
So, the real joke is that the databases which actually disappeared, it's the one from the German Telekom. It already disappeared in 2004 or was lost in 2004, and we just found out nowadays. We are sending demantees that we knew about this, because otherwise it would have been so typical if we say we knew.
Not only Telecom is super in losing data, it's also others. With e-government we thought, well, you can get registered online and do your tax declaration by email, but that's what we thought about e-government. But e-government is different. E-government means everybody can have every data.
And one definition of e-government is the adaptation, that one can actually measure adaptation of e-government by the amount of data they lose.
At the moment, UK is leading there. They have lost so much data, they've even lost track of how much data they lost.
Yeah, but everybody else is closing up fast. I think in Chile they lost already 6 million entries from data entries from the public.
So it was the government, not anybody, but the others lose much more, but it was the government. The data from the Chileans were funny enough, they were the voters register. Yeah.
Yeah, well, something positive.
We've got a new fundamental right on digital in a private sphere.
Die Übergabe alle antippen und dann diskutieren. Das ist einfacher.
The beauty is that if you take a look at the discussions and the articles in the news about all these things, then you're finding basically everything we already talked about in the past. For example, that digital cameras can be used to spy on the population, and I think we already told you about this last year, that this will, or that the government wants to do this and is asking the population to just walk through your house with your own camera, because you can't send everybody, or you can't send a government agent to spy on your people.
So then self-spying will be the new trend, and the hugest problem with spying on yourself are the politicians, like, didn't keep track of this glass where the fingerprints were collected of our Minister of the Interior. And yeah, they're joking about people not having a look at their glass.
There will be some new issues of the Data Schleuder, our monthly magazine with new fingerprints. Something which is very interesting and symptomatic is that we're seeing each month a new message or new article in the news about cyber warfare.
The background is that they are trying to get clear about how they want to get close to the topic digital security, cyber warfare and stuff. And some companies and persons try to get public with that, and that's how it gets all mixed up in the press, and everything happens, and people like calling, well, we're bad hackers are getting into the into the energy systems, or bad hackers are going to crash the stock exchange. So that's what you're going to take serious.
Yeah, and then they all came, I think it was January or February, it was the CIA in March, it was the Ministry 1 in the USA, then it was the second one, I think it was Interior Security, we just lost track.
And it's always been the Chinese, every time it's been the Chinese.
Right, probably we got malware which might have been from China, or might have been written in China, or maybe China already knew about it. And then it was malware with Chinese graphical user interface. And then I thought, well, this looks really pretty convincing. It's in Chinese after all. And then I noticed, well, they came a bit late this year, right? So they had there was this newspaper.
It was the home newspaper of the Max Planck Gesellschaft.
Right. It was just brilliant. They had a nice little picture on the title with this translation about the GUI. It was, if you translate it, it was something about hot girls. And now I'm looking like, I mean, it's a Chinese GUI after all. Yeah, it looks like it, but did anyone ever translate it?
As we were going on about China, one of the funniest stories about this year were these picture frames, these digital picture frames that were given out for Christmas under 100,000, where you could like give your parents not a photo album but a digital picture frame, and they are pre-owned now, so you can get them pre-owned by the company with the Chinese virus. And Yeah, well, these picture frames were sold, and there was a Trojan on it, and that used the USB connection to get on the computer and on the Windows computer, and continued from there. The FBI was very outraged about that because people in the very high secure institutions bought like these picture frames. But what I saw yesterday was picture frames with included UMTS modem. So, totally new possibilities here.
Yeah, well, they just don't have a camera yet. Yeah, but it's completely alright. These frames and the photo point of sales, like just printed your picture now for 50 cents, they're completely owned already. So you plug in your USB stick and it's owned. I mean, in the past it was you had to lose your USB stick on the
hotel
your company
printers
premises, and somebody would find it then. Or I think HP mislabeled some letters this year and sent them to the data to the wrong persons. All this is kind of the past. Now we're doing these photo stories.
And they're capable to do Bluetooth and all sorts of things. It's not gonna. I don't want to encourage you, but
I mean, it's not even competition yet.
the funny was also the point of sale terminals that at supermarket cash desks, and they came pre-owned from the company in China with a built-in GSM modem that sent selective card data home, but not China, but Pakistan. And they looked so well and were sealed so well that the only way to identify that they could check that by weighing the machines if they were like 100 grams heavier because of the built-in GSM modem.
Yeah, this is something like the low-tech counterattack. Just putting it on weighting the hardware. I mean, you have to just imagine what's the alternative. Send the guys a screwdriver and explain to the employees of the shops, open up the case, compare the serial number to another one from this list. Nah, this won't work.
And that's the one. And then the guarantee is void actually, and it's not sealed anymore.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in the shop can do this. It's no problem at all, right?
So what happened own from a company was what happened there was like the wireless LAN of the Boeing 787. So we already predicted war flying, but we had to cancel that the next year when the Lufthansa cancelled the wireless LANs on the airplanes because it didn't pay out. But that was, at least that was the official story. So maybe too many attacked government members, but then what then happened was that they had to work on the Boeing 787 wireless LAN because it wasn't separated enough from the board network.
And I mean, the most absurd thing is that what you can find in the newspapers. That's where I'm thinking, hopefully, I just hope these are very interesting translation mistakes or fuck-ups, because there you'll find things like, yeah, the people who found these bugs, the networks were not efficiently separated, and Boeing answered, no, because they're not completely connected with each other. So, just what a load of crap.
So with onboard entertainment, when you play the flight simulator game, be a little careful. Someone told us. Well, so you should really stop the Nmap scan when you get to the flight controller. Product piracy was also a very nice topic this year. So the numbers are from American official places. So there was like 3,500 faked network machines, and were carried out from NOCs. So it looked like Cisco, it smelled like Cisco, but there wasn't Cisco in it. Apparently they didn't find anything linked